Arabella in this episode is a clear depiction of what it looks like when you rely on other people to fix you instead of you fixing yourself. Hi my loves, Dre, Lady Girl from Runaway, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing HBO's I May Destroy You Season 1 episode, I don't know, but let's get into it. This episode starts out with Arabella in the support group. They're discussing a sexual predator, and Arabella goes off on this like complete huge like monologue of like why Bob is a habitual boundary stepper. He never crosses the line, he just tiptoes on it, and it's like almost like something that she maybe wrote before. I saw that Theo kind of gives a quick smirk, so I'm like, I'm wondering if she's being authentic, because now my wheels are spinning. I don't feel like people are being as authentic as they're presenting. But it was a good line, you know, that this show gives us good writing, good feels when it comes to certain things, and Michaela does a beautiful job at articulating certain points, and that is what the episode opened up with. So it wasn't showed in the episode, but we can kind of imply and assume that Kwame has told Arabella about his sexual assaults, and they are all in the park kind of chilling, relaxing, and they're just talking about Kwame wants a girl. And you know, I think that it's fair that a lot of men who identify with the LGBTQI community at some point want to try a girl or want to try something that's out of their norm of what they think that they would like. It's not a really far-fetched idea, but it's not an idea that's explored enough, because it's very true and it does happen. But in the process of that, the girls are like, yeah, no way, you can't get a girl, blah, 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 blah. Kwame, in his typical fashion, must have met someone on a dating app. And it's, you know, it's a it's a white girl who's interested in him. He sets up a date, and they all, you know, laugh, and they're cheerful, and, you know, kikiing, and it's all cute. It's all fun and games. Arabella gets a phone call from the police station, so I guess she's going there with her good girlfriend Terry as usual. And pretty much the person who they thought was the perpetrator turns out wasn't. So Arabella is trying to process everything. One of the things I want to point out is both of the police officers or investigators, I'm not really sure what their titles are pregnant. I thought that was kind of like, this show makes me think, and it made me wonder, like, why were they both pregnant? Like, what purpose did that serve? Because everything seems to be intentional here. So I don't know, maybe it's just women in power who still are women. I don't know what that was trying to illustrate. And sometimes I have brain farts and I'm leaving this in, so if y'all have some comments about it, leave it down in the description and let me know, because your girl is not all the way there with that. And they let her know that, like, you know, this is really hard news. It's no longer an investigation. And Arabella is traumatized. She really is. She's not responding in her normal joking way. They stayed at the police station for an extra hour. Terry, her girl, is just like, girl, we need to go somewhere. We've been here an hour. What are you doing? Let's go. Let's get it. And she's like, I want to ask you something, but I really can't, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, go ahead. Just ask me whatever. Long story short, Arabella's credit cards are all maxed out. And she wants to buy a plane ticket to Italy. And Tara's like, for what? What do you want to see him for? It makes no sense. And it really doesn't make sense. Like, what is she so pressed to go see Biaggo for? But she's not in a clear headspace. Clearly, she's distraught, honestly. She imagines something happening, you report it, and you think everything's going to go in your favor, and it doesn't. That's pretty disturbing, devastating, and traumatizing. If you've been watching this show, you know that the way that they have created the show or edited the show is that they have a weird kind of juxtaposition where it's following one character and then the other character. So in this episode, it's typical fashion. They're following Kwame and his date in Biaggo, and his and Arabella's adventure, which I was trying to figure out why in some reviews I kind of get mixed up and construed like I'm everywhere, and that's because I'm jumping right? But the show jumps in that way. So if you're just watching this and you haven't watched any of my other reviews, I'm going to link it up at the description. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. But also, I want you to know that if I seem scattered, it's because of how the show is, and I think about the show from a macro level. So I'm trying to figure out how all of these pieces fit together. But I'm just sharing this because I had to think about it myself, girl. Sometimes we got to work these things out. So obviously, Arabella is on her way to Italy. Terry must have purchased the plane ticket from her, and Arabella pulls out her infamous pink wig, child, and it is back terrorizing my spirit. Okay. And I was just like, you know what? I can kind of see that and recognize that. You know, when you ain't really, when you kind of like on your little bullshit and you like, girl, I'm about to wear this outfit. Like, this is my get 'em outfit or whatever the case. That wig, child, that wig is working on my nerves. But I know that like people are like that. Like, well, when I have this wig on and when I have this wig on and when I dress like this is who I am. And you can tell like this pink wig is symbolic to her being on her bullshit. At least that's what I got from it. Kwame's going on a date and the date is weird. Like she's a cute girl, but she's a little awkward. She, is weird. I don't know if the awkwardness is coming from Kwame because he clearly isn't into women or if it's really her. But as the day progresses, I'm like, nope, she's a typical White Walker. Miss Karen is like, I'm into guys with edge. 2 seconds later, I'm into black guys. Yeah, I'm really into black guys. I'm just like, oh my gosh, cringe, cringe, cringe. I was just like, ugh. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, are White Walkers, are they really that aggressive? Like, I know that we all know that we have some of those White Walkers who are out here chasing the BBCs and everything like that. But like, it was just weird. Ugh, oof, very tacky. I mean, and I'm not even gonna be the gatekeeper and all this, like how y'all like to drag me in my comments, but it was very weird for me. Okay, let me just say, in my experience, it was weird for me. So Arabella is still on her way to Italy. She's traveling there and she's scrounging for change, trying to pay for her cab. She sneaks into his gated little complex and she finds a key that was like on his plant and in front of his door, goes into his home, and it looks like she's almost relieved to be there. Like, I think she had a piece of something with Biaggo that she's trying to get again. And maybe it was her only outlet of some sort of, like, someone really caring about me. A man really caring about my well-being. And although she flags him off like, oh, I'm going to drink, I'm going to smoke, I'm going to do whatever. But I think that Biaggo was the first guy who was really kind of interested in her well-being. And I think that's what she went there to seek. So back to Karen and Kwame. She's mad aggressive. Like, she was super duper mad aggressive and awkward in her aggressiveness. Like, sis, can you get a hint? Like, they were like hugging and kissing, and Kwame like lip was like turned up a little bit. Like, ugh, like, you can't figure that out, girl. Like, he's not that into you. And as a woman, women, we are naturally intuitive. And like, I can read a room, I can feel a vibe, and she didn't even get that. I'm like, girl, your discernment, your whole judgment is completely off. So they end up, doing the do, and she pretty much sat her vag on top of him. But as they're going through the motions, Kwame's getting flashbacks of the assault that happened to him. And I'm like, is Kwame really about to be assaulted by this woman? Like, she's really violating him at this point. I felt a little uncomfortable even watching it, like, wow. So he's like a little teary-eyed. He's like out of it after they do their business. And she's like, oh, I have some gin in there. Go grab a drink. She's completely clueless, this chick. Very clueless, okay? So Biaggo shows up and he is irate. He is shocked. He is like, what are you doing here? And she is stammering over her words. She's obviously nervous. She's obviously awkward and uncomfortable, but she's like, I just wanted to come to apologize to you, which maybe it was her reasoning, but she's clearly, it's very weird. But he kind of like relaxes and it's like, how'd you get in my house? And she's like, oh, I remember the key. And then I came in, and then, just really kind of just all over the place. And if you know, sometimes that happens when you're going through something and you really just need a hug. I think Arabella just needed a hug in that moment. If they had not even said anything, he had no empathy toward her situation. She looked like she just needed a hug. You know, they probably didn't even have to talk. She probably would have been okay just being in his embrace, but he was kind of taken aback because, well, yeah, I'm thinking now, like, you don't even live in this country, sis. Yeah, that would be weird. But and then I didn't even know that their relationship had progressed to that level. I don't know. It was very weird. But just knowing everything that she was going through and had been through, I don't think Biaggo was privy to that. So he's looking at her like, girl, what are you doing in my home? But Arabella tells him, I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking. Thank you for going to forensic. I just want to be next to you. And she's like, oh, I ordered pizza. She was playing Daft Punk, which was a song that they played at the beginning when they first met. And he's like, oh, do you have money for the pizza? Do you have cash or whatever? And she's like, nah. So he's like giving her money to go pay for the pizza. And she goes to the pizza. She goes to the door to get the pizza. She comes back. Door's locked. Okay. And she's like knocking on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Like, and nothing's there. She's like, Biaggo, I think you locked me out. Biaggo, answer the door. Biaggo, what's up? Biaggo. And she's like, well, maybe I was tripping by saying that I'm going to be here as long as you want me to. But I have a flight. And then she thought about it like, well, my passport's in your home, so I can't even leave. Really, technically, I'm going to be here as long as you want me to because you have my passport. Just open up the door. And Biaggo slips that passport with force, child, with force, girl. Slips it underneath that door and she loses it. I lost it too, like, damn, like, woo, you did not read that correctly. And she's going off, Biaggo, you're a C word, Biaggo, you're a B word, Biaggo, you're an F word, and all of these, you know, vulgar things. And she's going crazy. She just loses it. Banging on his door, kicking his door, and the aggression is coming from the culmination of everything that she's been going through and dealing with. But it's not Biaggo's responsibility to handle that. And now that I'm thinking about it, everybody's like, Biaggo's such a dick, Biaggo's an asshole. True, but Arabella constantly seeks outside validation. Okay, so you can't be disappointed or explosive when you don't get it anymore, because she never really sat with it and dealt with it without Terry, without Kwame, without a group, without a park, without anything. So you were putting this expectation on this man who you just met and was just binge drinking and doing drugs with, to somehow this elevated position in your life, and when it doesn't go the way that you want it to, you go crazy. Anyway, my rant is over. Biaggo opens up the door with a gun, right? And I'm like, he's like, get away from my door. I'm like, oh, snap. And she is just, oh, good. And then also, in addition to the writing abilities, sis is acting. Okay? She's an actor. She's an actress. This is my Italian, this is my Italian accent. And like, girl, she runs away. She leaves the pizza. She grabs her stuff and she goes to the beach. And the beach is where they kind of like got intimate. Not even intimate in that way, but connected. Goes there and she like slips underneath the gate. And she falls asleep at the beach with nowhere to go. With no money, with no international data. And she wakes up in the morning like looking terrible in this pink wig, as she typically does with this wig, child. I cannot get off of this wig, child. It's on my soul. But she's going into the water and completely dressed with everything on her, just walks into the beach. Okay. And I'm like, well, she's trying to, like, what is she? She's just completely lost. Like, she's completely lost it now. What's symbolic about this is I don't think she's trying to kill herself. I think she's just she's just surrendering. It was like a moment of surrender, or it was a moment of like rebirth, because, you know, with death comes a cycle of rebirth. And I think that that's probably what we're going to see in the next episode with her. With her going into the beach in the way that she did, and the music that was played, it was very much like a person was dying, or a part of her was dying, or a part of her was being put behind her, because We all know that water is cleansing, water is renewal, water, you can die. It's like so many things that goes into that scene. I want to know what y'all think about that too. Leave it in the comment section, because a lot of y'all who watch the show, who watch my video, y'all are like on point. And some of y'all watched it, like I guess with the and BBC, so you guys are a little bit ahead of me. So I'm curious to know if I'm somewhere like on point. So back to Kwame. So they're laying in bed and they're rapping very weird rap lyrics. The White Walker, she is working on my nerves with the way that she's rapping in this UK accent. Long story short, she's dubbing the N word for ninja, and Kwame's almost like, why are you not saying it? It's weird. And then she's like, oh, because I have black friends and I would never do that. And then it turns into her saying something about the LGBTQ community, but she uses the word that rhymes with maggot. And Kwame's very upset. And she's like, and which I kind of got upset too, because I'm like, is Kwame okay with her using the N word, but not okay with her using the F word? Like, come on. But I find this to be very true in a lot of black people who identify with the LGBTQ community. Like, they are okay with you saying the N word. Like, they wear their homosexuality first before their race, which is very, very odd to me, because if I don't even open up my mouth and say anything to you all in front of this camera, you see that I'm a black woman first. You can't see how I identify in the sexual spectrum. He gets upset about it. He's very upset about it, and he's like, well, you know, you know, I'm gay. And she's like, what do you mean? We just hooked up, and she's coming to the realization that she just had sex with somebody who is gay. And here's another example of where this intersectionality is coming to play in real life, because as a woman, now I'm black first, period. Y'all know that. I should know that about me. It's almost like I'm black first, but as a woman, okay, I would want to know who I'm sleeping with, period. And I think that is what causes men to be on the DL, because it's the stigma that goes along with this, and you want both, and how can we compare, and we're not the same because women are this way and men are that way. But here's the thing, women, I want you to know that if you do encounter that, be respectful, and you can be respectfully decline, or you can go ahead, but that also does not give men the right, I feel like, to just do whatever. Now, she could have vetted him a little bit better, because clearly one date and she was missing up on the signs, but Kwame obviously was not being honest. Okay, so so she's like, get out, you know, get out. And then also, Kwame too, you need to be careful, because this woman is a White Walker. Okay, Miss Karen could have went down to the police station same way you went to old boy and said he raped me. So be very, very careful in those type of situations, because that could have easily switched and flipped on him. And she's like, I can't believe it. You're crying and I'm not. Like, girl, it was a lot. She was very aggressive. Very aggressive. So Kwame's leaving and he's back on Grindr. He's about to like go hook up with another guy. And I think that he's needing to, because remember, he's on a break. I think he's needing to wipe away what just happened with something that's familiar and comfortable to him, which are these random hookups with random guys. And that's pretty much just how it ends. Arabella, I think she's on a cycle of rebirth, and Kwame, I think that he is about to go crazy and go buck wild on Grindr and all these other apps and hookups. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Again, you know, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Let YouTube know it's for real. It really helps me out. Good episode. Good, solid episode. I'm really excited to see the finale. And I want to know if they're going to get renewed. Clearly, that's what I want to know. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.